Good morning folks, today is Tuesday the 10th of March and I'm in Gothenburg in Sweden. We're here today for a very special flight on board one of the last flying RJ100s in Europe. So flying from Gothenburg to Stockholm, Bromma, do a day's plane spotting in Bromma. So yeah, really looking forward to the flight, so hope you enjoy it.
Here's a sneak preview of what's to come from Stockholm Bromma. Gothenburg Landvetter Airport has a nice modern terminal handling about 6 million passengers a year from major carriers such as Ryanair and Norwegian. Here is my Avro RJ100 just landing on runway 21. I cannot tell you how excited I was when I saw this touching down on the runway. I just wanted to board the aircraft right there and then. It was fantastic to see it pull into the terminal. Soon after the aircraft pulled into stand, it was time for us to board flight TF13 from Gothenburg to Stockholm Bromma. Flight time is approximately 46 minutes. Unlike most European carriers, Fly BRA still operate a free seating policy, so basically first come, first served, which suited me very well, as I was able to select seat 4F with this beautiful view overlooking both engines at the very forward part of the wing. Here's a quick look at the safety card included in the seat in front. Another beautiful view overlooking two of the Lycoming LF507 engines. Quick view into the cabin. It is dated, but it's what you expect from a 1994 built regional jet. The Avro RJ100 was built near Manchester at BAE's facility at Woodford. The aircraft flew, well this aircraft anyway, first flew with Sam Columbia and was delivered in September 1994. Then delivered to Malmö Aviation in Sweden in April 2001, before then going to BRA Braathens Regional Airlines in February 2016. So the aircraft has seen some service, but now that it is stored at Norwich, it does beg the question, what is left in store for this trusty old Avro RJ100? Well, only the future will tell. Anyway, enjoy the pushback as we begin our journey to Stockholm Bromma.
Mina damer och herrar, så i nästa så släcker vi ner kabinen för den framför i panelen ovan. Ladies and gentlemen, before takeoff, we'll do the cabin, but if you wish to ring in right there, and then above you.
began our taxi out to runway 21 at Gothenburg. As you can see from the outside view, it was wet, it was raining, and overall not the most pleasant day for flying. But still, just being on board this RJ100 was such an amazing experience for me. I knew it was going to be one of the last flights in Europe, especially for this aircraft. However, I never realised that this was going to be the last ever Stockholm Bromma flight from Gothenburg that Sierra Echo Delta Sierra Romeo would ever operate. And as it turns out, this was its second last ever passenger commercial flight. Such a shame, but one which I will remember for a long time to come yet. Enjoy the takeoff. Steady climb up to our cruising altitude of 27,000 feet. However, we weren't at 27,000 feet for long. Once we reached our cruising altitude, we stayed there for approximately 4 minutes before commencing our descent into Stockholm Bromma Airport. The climb, as you can see, took us left out of Gothenburg with a left turn toward Boreas in Sweden, and then continuing in the direction of Stockholm. As we climbed out of Gothenburg Landvetter Airport, we flew above the beautiful clouds on that lovely morning. The sound of the engines, the look of the cabin, there was so much to look at, so much to me which was new, but at the same time it felt familiar at the same time. Soon the cabin crew began their drink service, where a complimentary drink and chocolate were offered to all of the passengers. Amazingly, the gentleman sitting next to me refused this offer, which I must admit, sitting next to him, I felt like it was a bit of a shame and a waste of chocolate and a waste of tea, but hey. As we continued our climb up to our cruising altitude, it was time to enjoy a nice cup of tea at 28,000 feet, overlooking the beautiful scenery in Sweden. As we continued heading east, the clouds slowly disappeared, and in the gaps you could see the stunning scenery beneath us. It was an absolutely wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to see that morning. I have to say, departing Stockholm, with the weather being so wet and miserable, just to see some greenery, the lakes, the countryside, it was absolutely fantastic. Definitely one of the highlights on our way to Stockholm. It felt like we'd only been airborne for a little less than 2 minutes, and yet no sooner had we got to our cruising altitude, well, we began our descent into Stockholm Bromma Airport. Though as we neared Stockholm, more cloud appeared on the horizon, and the beautiful view of Sweden and the countryside beneath us slowly disappeared into the distance. Soon the seatbelt sign was turned on, and after the captain had made his announcement, the cabin crew provided very good information with regard to anyone who had a connecting flight. Transiting through Stockholm Bromma really is easy. Once you've landed, you head straight through and you can pick up your bag from the carousel and immediately proceed to any of the gates which you need. It really is a straightforward affair, and I'm sure for anyone who does it in the future, you will find it is exactly the same. Very easy, very straightforward. As we neared Stockholm Bromma Airport, the cloud beneath us got closer and closer and closer, until eventually, well, yes, we were beneath it. It seemed that lovely blue sky above us was, well, something of a distant memory. But still, up even until this point, it had been a fantastic flight on the last airline flight scheduled Avro RJ100 flights in Europe. This was definitely a flight which I am not going to be forgetting in a hurry. final approach into Stockholm Bromma, there were a few gaps in the clouds where you were able to see the sky above and at times the ground below. Sound of the Avro RJ100's flaps coming down as the aircraft becomes fully configured for landing. This aircraft, unlike many others, is unique in its ability to land and take off from short runways. Its high wing configuration gives it this performance unlike any other aircraft. After what seemed a very quick approach, the cloud broke and the beautiful city of Stockholm appeared below the cloud, right there beneath us. It was amazing to see, and my excitement at this point was just indescribable. It was really, really amazing. So, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm just going to let you watch and enjoy this final approach as we land into Stockholm's Bromma City Airport. Here's another view of the landing, filmed from my mobile phone. Once we'd landed and vacated, as you can see outside, it started to rain heavily. Given the fact I was about to do some plane spotting, I was not looking forward to stepping outside of the aircraft. But still, we were here in Stockholm Bromma. That was the main thing. We taxied to our stand where deboarding took place via the stairs at the front of the aircraft and also at the rear. It is then a short walk through a walkway into the terminal. I was very fortunate to get inside the cockpit and talk with the crew about it being one of the last RJ100 flights in Europe. It was quite a sobering moment though when it was revealed to me by the captain that their contract with the airline to fly the aircraft would expire at the end of March, and with the crew not transferring to the newer types such as the ATR 72-600, their futures and livelihoods were in doubt. This was quite a sad moment, as it is not only the loss of this classic British-made Avro RJ100, but importantly it is the crews and the people and the cabin crew, everyone who makes this aircraft tick. All of those in turn would be affected.
Service on flight approaching. Service on flight approaching.
Well, the crew were absolutely fantastic. They were very accommodating and appreciated that this was one of the last chances to fly on this type of aircraft in Europe. Sierra Echo Delta Sierra Romeo, as I mentioned before, has since been flown to Norwich, where its future remains to be seen. But it was great to get on board it, whilst it was still flying in Sweden on domestic routes. Here's a quick overview of the ramp just after we landed.
Well folks, that concludes my flight on the RJ100. Fantastic crew. Sad to see the aircraft leave service with BRA. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the trip report, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
That's fine. Let's go.